Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Paul Reed and I'm a professional photographer. If you're not new here, then you'll know that I've got a real love for monochrome photography. On my last video, I was explaining how it's good sometimes to have a change of focal length, something that's going to breathe some life into your photography. But something else that I've noticed about a lot of photographers is that they're always changing, like changing every 6 months or so to the new better camera, or what seems to be a better camera. This camera is going to be the one, this is going to be the right fit for me. And that's pretty bad, you know, to be doing that all of the time, because you never really get into a flow with a certain camera or a certain focal length. Instead, try this year to stick with something for a while. If you've just changed your focal length or changed your camera, then try to stick with that at least for this whole year and really try to get into a way of thinking with your photography. Look, whatever system it is that you're using now or that you're about to be using, try to settle with it for this next year. Try not to be seduced by the next best camera or the next best lens that comes out, because keeping changing all of the time is really going to be hindering your photography. Before I show you these images, let me just remind you that I've got a workshop in Glasgow on the 18th of January, and there's only one space left on that. It's going to be a fantastic workshop. We're going to be shooting all day and I'm going to be showing you some of my favourite spots in Glasgow. But then at the end of the day, when the workshop's finished, we're going to be going to the Simon Murphy exhibition, because that's just an amazing exhibition and I can't wait to do that with you. The other workshop that I've got this month is on the 25th, and that's in London. And I'm so looking forward to that one. The London one is always amazing. I've actually got 3 spaces left on that workshop, so it'd be good just to get some of you along to that. I'm going to leave a link in the description so that you can have a look to see all of the dates of my workshops. And now here's the images I promised you. So I'm going to continue on now with the images, my best images of 2023, and just give explanations as to why I took them, how I took them, etc, etc. So this image I am over the moon with. This is a definite keeper from the year. This image, what happened here was I was waiting for the tube, and what I do a lot of the time is I'll look out to see if there's going to be anybody interesting coming off the tube. Now I seen this gentleman and I seen him in the window, and it was kind of from a little bit of a distance away, and I didn't kind of know if he was going to be a good character to photograph because I couldn't properly see him, but I knew there was somebody in that window coming up, so I just panned the camera along as the tube went by, and it was just coming to a stop at the time. I love everything about this photograph. This got a Leica Master Shot award, but just the way his hand is at the window, the look in his eyes, even down to just the fact that on that window there's kind of almost like a little circle, a little semicircle that's framing his eyes as well, and then the fact everybody else is kind of blurred with motion blur. Absolutely love this shot, and this one will be an all-time favourite, and this one definitely won't be eliminated from my collection of great photographs from 2023. This photograph was taken in London, and sometimes I see something, and it was this billboard which I saw, and I thought, I just love that billboard. And there's some things that I want to photograph, and I just kind of trying to find an excuse to photograph it. I'm not going to just photograph a billboard, you know, on its own. That's just kind of taking a photograph of somebody else's art. I often think this about graffiti and things like that. If you're just taking a picture of the graffiti itself, or a billboard or something like that, or a photograph, then all you're doing then is just taking a photograph of somebody else's art. So I put the camera down low because I had to be tilting up to get, you know, some of that billboard in, and then just waited for the right person to enter the frame. And the right person would be, you know, somebody who, you know, looks again a little bit timeless, or maybe that they could be of that era. Just somebody who really goes with what the background is. Love this shot. Love this photograph. The light was the thing which led me to take this, so I'll have looked there at the other side of that street, saw the way the sun was on the doors and things. That would have been the thing that led me to take this image, but then it was a waiting game just to kind of wait and see if anybody interesting came along. And it just so happened that 3 people were all kind of walking in different directions at the same time, and I tried to frame it the best that I could so that people were within, you know, that girl in the middle is within the door frame, the guy on the right isn't quite cutting that line there, and then this girl in the front where she's, you know, more out of focus. And I love the layering of this image. The only thing that I do wish about this photograph is that the girl at the front had a phone in her hand as well, and she was looking at it. That would have been great, but beggars can't be choosers, so it is what it is, and I do love the image anyway. So this photograph was taken on the train. It was on the way back from one of my workshops actually, and the light was just so perfect coming through the window there that I just had to snap this photograph. I know, and I sometimes kind of feel, oh, should I take this photograph? Because, you know, of strangers, especially whenever you're so close. I was just on the seat next to her, and I thought, oh man, is this right to do? But the light was just so good, and I just thought, I need to capture this light, I need to capture this image. So I did, and absolutely love it. This photograph was taken, this is in Glasgow, this was during one of my workshops, and this image, it tells a tale of, and it's a made-up tale, that this girl is frightened, she's scared, and she's being followed by this guy that's behind, and she's clutching her bag or whatever it is, and then she's got the phone in her hand. Is she calling somebody? Is she calling the police? But in actual fact, this is just somebody walking, minding their own business, and so is the guy behind her. But it just shows that, you can kind of tell stories, even though they're fabricated, really. It's what story it tells to the viewer. But that's what story this image tells me. It is that bridge. We do go there as part of my Glasgow workshops, but always feels a little bit ominous under there for some reason. So this image really captures that. Love this photograph. This would be a photograph in Carlisle, and this really was me being led by the light on this one. I just loved the texture on that wall, and the sun was just kind of shining through slightly there onto that wall. And this would have been a waiting game. I would have been waiting for the right person to walk into frame. Look, it's a lot like the way fine art street photographers work with their light and shadows and geometry and all that sort of stuff. They'll normally set up and wait for somebody to enter the frame. I always see this as almost like this is my film set, even though I'm not a filmmaker, I'm a photographer, but this is my film set, and I'm waiting for my actors and actresses to come into frame, and hopefully I get the right person. And I just love the way this guy, he looks really hot, he's took his jacket off, it's like he's mopping his brow. Love this shot. And then this is down the exact same little alleyway, but this was maybe a few minutes after or before, can't remember. It was the light that led me there, as I say, but then just waiting for somebody to enter into the frame in the right part, which is going to really make the image. Love this shot. This image was taken in a place called Beamish. Now, if you're from the UK, then you might know where this is. It's like this little town which people go to in order to kind of see how England used to be, and it's, you know, all these old shops and old buildings, and everybody dresses in old outfits, so it's just perfect for going with your camera. And you know, because it's basically like taking pictures on talking about film sets. It's like taking pictures of people on a film set, and they're all dressed up as your actors and actresses. So I love this shot. I think this was either a post office or a bank. I can't remember, but I love putting things kind of out of focus in the foreground sometimes, just to give a bit of depth. This is also taken in Beamish. Asked this gentleman if I could take his portrait, and of course he said yes. What I do whenever I'm taking some of these portraits is I'll take a close shot like this. So this is what I would consider to be a close-up, and then I'll take one that's a bit further away to give a bit more context. But I do love this portrait. This is the one further away, and I love this one as well. So I've kept both of those as images that I'm keeping from 2023. The Q2 monochrome in situations like this is just brilliant, because this is a low light situation. This was pretty dark in this place, and I was able to take this image and still get a whole lot of detail there, something which just wouldn't be possible with a colour sensor camera or on film. So it's just fantastic sometimes to get images with detail in that you wouldn't normally be able to do. Same place, just different guy. Love this portrait. You know, again, I took a close-up one, this one, and then I also took this one which is further away to give more context. Love this shot. This one got a Leica Master Shot Award. So this image was taken in Silith, and what happened here was, you know, I was wandering around the Fairground, which was shut at the time, and this gentleman was kind of leaning out of his caravan, just kind of looking out, and I just thought, I need to take this guy's portrait, because even the way that he was looking out of the caravan door, he was just kind of leaning over. And so I went up, started to talk to him for a while, and then said, hey, by the way, would you let me take your portrait? Because I was telling him, you know, that I'm just out photographing things, and, you know, get that into the conversation, and then end the conversation with asking for the portrait, rather than starting off the conversation with wanting a portrait, because it's nice to just get to know somebody a little bit before you actually pull the trigger and take that portrait. I absolutely love this photograph. This was taken at the top of Blackpool Tower, and this was just one of those things, you know, you come across these things just by luck really, but you've got to be out with your camera in order to, you know, to get them to capture stuff like this. So I kind of assumed that this girl on the left was his sister, the little boy's sister, and I don't know, it's just that kind of thing where he's got that backpack on that says out of this world. He's on his tiptoes to look through that telescope, just full of imagination and wonderment, just amazing. And then his sister there, you know, a different age than him, and maybe she's a little bit disinterested, things haven't got the same magic as what maybe they did. This is the kind of story which I'm telling to myself, but I love this photograph. This one got a Leica Master Shot Award. And this was a portrait that was taken in Blackpool. This one, I actually ran into this lady in B&M, and I just started talking to her. She noticed I had a camera, and she, you know, said, oh, would you take my portrait, as a joke? And I said, yeah, I'd love to take your portrait. I said, I'll wait outside for you. and I waited outside for her and then took this portrait. She was a real character, and I was just so pleased to take this portrait of her, and I really do love it. This is a photograph of my better half, and this was taken on film. We were at the beach. It was a lovely day that day, lovely hot summer's day, and I just love this shot. This was taken on film, and I think it was taken on, I think it was HB5, this, rather than Tri-X. Now, the thing with taking photographs on film, especially when you've got people with hats on and things like that, it's if you've come to film after using the Leica Q2 Monochrom, then how you deal with film is basically the opposite of how you deal with a Q2 Monochrom. With a Q2 Monochrom, what you're doing is you are making sure that you expose for any highlights that you want to make sure that you have detail in. So if you want detail in highlights, then you have to expose for the highlights. With film, it's the opposite. If you want detail in the shadows, you need to be exposing for the shadows. Otherwise, you're going to just kind of get a mess whenever you start to try and bring those shadows up. So this photograph, yeah, it was a tricky one because you had that hat there with all that shadow that's going over her face there. But this one worked. This one was, I love the shot, love the tones on this, love the grain, and it's just got, I said the word timeless so many times, but it just does just have such a timeless look to it. And of course, she looks beautiful in this image. And then this was another photograph just shortly before, just on the beach. Again, just film just has a look to it, which I do love. It's something which I really love to use alongside the Q2 Monochrom, just because it has got a different look to it. I'm not stopping using the Leica Q2 Monochrom, but I'm also using the Leica M6 as well for film because I love using that camera as well, and I love the look of film. But this was, yeah, we went to the beach. I think why we had those balloons was because we had just done a metalhead shoot, which is an actual project which I'm doing, and we needed one of those heart balloons, so we still had the heart balloons whenever we went to the beach afterwards. But I absolutely love this shot, love everything about it, and love that grain. This is an image from a series which I'm doing, which some of you may know about, called The Lonesome Underground. And this series is part of the London Underground project which I'm doing, and I'm always looking out for these specific people, that's people that kind of where their character speaks to me. And this image, I was just so happy to photograph this. You'll notice that they're always kind of sitting in that end seat away from everybody, and that's kind of part of this series, is that they're always in that end seat. Absolutely love this shot. Again, the Leica Q2 Monochrom this was taken with, and absolutely love it. And then finally, this is Sophie with Baby Max, and this portrait I said, oh, can I take a picture of you and Baby Max? I know Sophie very well. She's just a wonderful, wonderful person. Just such an inspiration she is. So happy. And Sophie's got Down syndrome, and she's just amazing. She's just, honestly, she just brings a smile to my face, and I was just so happy to take this photograph of her and Baby Max. Now, you would a lot of times whenever you take portraits like this, you'll notice that people aren't really smiling in the photographs that I take. But when it comes to Sophie, if I was to tell her not to smile, it would be the most ridiculous thing to ever say, because it just isn't her. She's such a happy person, and she had to be smiling, and that's just her probably laughing away at me. Thanks everybody for watching again today. Please like, comment, subscribe, all of that sort of thing, and I'll see you next time.